Yes. Okay. Oh, okay. I can change that. Uh, Properties. I thought I did select the window. Okay, yeah, there we go. Sweet, we are live. Okay, welcome to the Bitovi Advent of Code meetup. So we are experts in front-end development, Angular, React, Node.js, DevOps, project management, UX, and more. If you need application development help, reach out for a free consultation by emailing contact@bitovi.com or visiting our website at bitovi.com. So, with me, I have Wade Harkins. Hi, Wade. So, our plan is to start solving the advent of code. So today, December 1st, just like advent calendar of chocolate, instead we're opening up the advent to get coding problems that myself or Wade are going to be trying to solve live on Twitch. Yeah, I've always had chocolate. This year we're actually with my kids, we're doing Lego. So you pop open the door, you get like a Lego piece or pieces that you can build something that by the end you have something. My daughter has Lego Friends. My wife and I have Lego Harry Potter. Oh, it is a product. Yeah, 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 both. Um, so, before we kind of get started, just want to set the bar. Um, the problems drop at midnight Eastern. So the problem has been available for. Oh, okay. I think I know what that is. Okay. Sorry about that, Wade. Okay.
That's okay.
Now can you be heard?
Maybe. Can I be heard, folks?
Okay,
Yay!
sweet.
Well, they
Yeah.
missed out on all that comedy gold.
Yeah, it was literally the funniest things I've ever heard. Um, good thing right before I
Rude.
started the introduction. Um, so, advent of code. Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself, Wade? How did you find yourself in this situation?
Well, I've done coding challenges before, and in school did some coding competitions and stuff. That was always in Java. I don't like to talk about that anymore. But I also haven't used Java since like Java 6, so I wouldn't be good at solving that. But I heard about this because you mentioned it to me, and I thought it sounded like a good idea for streams after you came up with it. So, yeah.
Nice.
And I'm an Angular consultant at Bitovi.
Yeah. So fun fact, while Wade and I were getting ready to do this, we've done some amount of planning. What one of the pieces is I was like introducing the concept to Wade while on a call, and I could hear a little bit of typing and was kind of like, "Are you trying to solve the problem?" And Wade was like, "Yeah." And then I asked you to see your screen. Did I see Angular code when I got to see it, Wade?
No, you didn't even see JavaScript or TypeScript. You saw Ruby, which fortunately or unfortunately, even though I do JavaScript and TypeScript professionally, or I guess I get paid for doing it, I still hold Ruby near and dear to my heart for coding challenges, just because I don't know, I just like Ruby. So we'll see. This may end up with like a bonus. Show you how I would solve this in Ruby after we solve today's problem. So I can tell you one thing: I am much more apt at loading files from the file system and parsing them in Ruby than I am JavaScript, just because I don't do much Node.
Yeah, I think I might have some tricks up my sleeve when it comes to the parsing part. Um, so we've been live for roughly 4 minutes talking. Everybody in the top 200 that have solved today's problem have already solved it.
It's
They
true.
solved it within the high score, 53 seconds.
I'm not
So
even sure I could read the problem that fast, honestly.
yeah, yeah, it is a tough nut to crack that top 200. Um, So one of the things, you mentioned TypeScript, JavaScript, Ruby. Would you say TypeScript's your favorite programming language, or is it still Ruby?
For front end stuff, I like TypeScript. I like TypeScript because it reminds me of C Sharp. It kind of takes the flexibility of JavaScript and adds the a little bit of extra stuff on top of it that C Sharp does. Um, Not that other languages don't do it too. I just feel it's closest to C Sharp. Um, but I like TypeScript. I do like whenever I have a text file I need to parse or something I need to do that's kind of mundane and needs processing power to handle it, I do still like go to the Ruby console and punch it out. But I like TypeScript too. How
Nice.
was that for a non-answer?
Yeah, you know what? One of them. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Um, so yeah, one of the things, if when we get into solving the problem, we'll be using Visual Studio Code. We'll be using the Live Share extension, so both Wade and I can type over each other. Not that that's going to happen. Um, but Live Share works in other editors.
Does it?
But yeah, it does, oddly enough. But I was going to
Interesting.
ask Wade, what editor is your favorite, and could you explain why it's VS Code?
Okay, I was going to say VS Code anyway, but it's VS Code because it's the one I've used now. I can't say it's the one I've used the longest. It's the one I've used most recently. And I switched over to it when it first came out from Sublime, which is a code editor that, at least the one I had, did some like code completion, but it was just based off of strings that were already in your text file. So it wasn't that great. But Visual Studio Code's got a lot of great extensions. It integrates really well with TypeScript. And perhaps most important to me is it has a terminal that you can have like embedded inside the editor. And it's fairly lightweight. It's not super lightweight, but it's lighter weight than other alternatives that also have consoles uh, embedded in them.
Nice, nice. So I'm going to switch to show the code. But while I'm doing that, I'll ask you one more question before we kind of get into that.
Yeah.
Um, do you listen to stuff while coding? Do you listen to music or ambient sounds or nothing or silence?
I used to listen to music. I used to have a playlist that was either songs that were not in languages I understood or songs that didn't really have vocals to them. But I kind of fell out of doing that, and I'm not sure why. Um, so yeah, I've tried doing podcasts, but I just listen to the podcast and I don't actually get anything done, so that doesn't work. And if it was a podcast that I didn't care about or wasn't interested in, then I don't see the point in listening to it and having it distract me. Um, so yeah, I do sometimes
Nice.
listen to. More recently been listening to like metal music, which is still I can still like tune out enough that I can still get work done.
Nice. Yeah. Cool. I'm always interested because like you walk in through a group of developers, half of them have headphones on, half don't, and I'm always curious, what are they listening to with those headphones on? Back when I was in the office, I wouldn't. I would just have the headphones on
So people
because,
wouldn't talk to you; they think you were busy. Yeah.
yep, yep. It's a great way to get around that. So, um, as we get into the problem, have you had a chance to roughly read the problem? Are you familiar with what we're tackling today?
I know it has something to do with. I've read now what you've pasted into the code editor, which is not being shown to people, but I
Oh,
think it's coming from the. Also, just and I'd say my poor eyes can't read what's in your browser. Could you make your
oh,
text a
okay.
tiny bit bigger, just for other folks like me
Yep.
and me?
That might be too big.
Although my video is probably a little smaller than most people's will be.
Yeah.
So we got to feed some elves. Sounds like.
Yeah. Yeah. With advent of code, of course, it talks about like they're all Christmas themed. And if you want to try and solve this while we're talking through, feel free.
So I
To
have a
the
question
people watching,
first.
yeah, yeah,
I'm
definitely.
looking at your example, which you love putting inside the function, I've noticed from our practice streams, even though ideally we'll be passing that into our function or something. I guess maybe not, that's not true. So maybe it makes sense. Sorry, that's not what I was going to talk about. I've noticed you have the values already in a nice two-dimensional array. Is that, are you planning on skipping the file parsing stage of this?
Yeah. So one of the
Because our
things,
input, I believe,
yes,
uh, is a text file where each line counts. It's not like a delimited list of any sort. I mean, I guess it is. It's line break delimited, but
yeah. So I have the raw right here. Yeah. Right where your cursor is. And one of the things that I like to do with advent of code is try and use the right tool for the right job. And sometimes I like to use the wrong tool for the wrong job. And whether right or wrong, one things I was thinking is I was looking at this being like, okay, so if the data was in this format, it would make it a lot easier to solve than if the data is in this format, the raw data, so to speak. So what I was thinking, instead
how
of
so? Oh wait, I'm
trying
sorry. Did you say that the you didn't just say the raw data would be easier than the array data, did you?
the array data would be easier than
Okay. Okay.
yeah, yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Gotcha. Yes.
So what I was thinking is if I was to go through this list and if I did pulled up some regex, and if I was looking for a slash n, but it is at the start, that should pull up all these breaks. And if I replace them
You know, Visual
with,
Studio Code affords you a much simpler way to do this that doesn't require any regular expression experience.
ooh, does it?
It does.
Illuminate me.
Okay, so if I scroll all the way to the top of this file, which you can't see, but I will click there so that it focuses you up there, I think. Okay, maybe not.
Yeah.
Um, I'm going to use my middle mouse cursor and drag all the way to the bottom of the file. It's a long file, so it'll take a second. Still scrolling. Any second now. All right, I made it. Now I'm going to hit the end key and type in, actually, I'm going to go back to the home, put in a single quote, go to the end, put another single quote, and put a comma at the end of that. And hopefully that will turn this into an array of strings. We'll have to parse them into integers, but this will keep us with our blank spots in between.
Mm. But I don't think we want strings.
True, but that would be okay. So you want to actually, were you planning to use regex magic and turn it into proper arrays? All right, fine. Your way's cooler.
I mean, either way.
So that's how it would be if you read it. That's a step that would afford you not having to read it from a file, but still getting the result you get because it's going to be strings when you read it from a file.
Yeah.
All right,
So
continue with your regular expressions.
so if I go like this slash n and I do a replace of like this, uh, like that. Let's just preview how that looks. Okay, that's not quite what I'm hoping for. I want one more. Also not quite what I want.
Let's
There
see
we
if I
go.
can do this through code faster than you can do it through regular expressions.
Okay,
Uh,
then
oh,
I want to select.
can I have terminal access, please?
Yes.
This is going to be painful because you have a very skinny terminal.
Here, I can unskinny it. Actually, I don't. I want D. Want
Mm.
So what I'm doing is with regular expressions, I'm doing a selector. I want to get all the digits, and I'm putting that into a $1. Um, and then I just want a comma after it. So actually, plus. Okay, I think
Oh, I
I'm
got it
done.
into, okay, well, fine. I managed to get it to the same point as I did with my middle click trick, so it wasn't that exciting. Okay, so you
Okay,
got an array now.
yes. So I
Cool.
just need a closing brace at the end. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to go put that into data, the data file.
So we already, the thing you have initially is this example state, right? So we know what we want to get.
Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully that makes it a bit easier on us at the parsing side. Maybe. So I'm just going to leave this as the raw, that as that. Okay, so let's actually start going
So
through this problem.
as far as the approach, I can see um, two options. One of them perhaps anticipating the future where there's a part two where we need to have more than just the sums of these groups. But the simplest one would just be to uh, do a reduce on example and um, sum up each of those arrays and make a new array for that, right?
Yes.
We'll keep the
Yeah.
same positions. That way we know which elf it is that has the most calories. Oh, and then I guess sort it, and then take the first or the last based on how we sort.
Well, there is a math.max operation in JavaScript we could use.
That is true. So that would be perhaps even more optimal than sorting, unless we're going to need to know like the second most whatever.
Right. Right. Yeah. Okay. So if we were to try and do this, so ideally with Advent of Code, they give you an example to solve. So you're able to take a crack at it and they supply the answer. So back here, I'll go here. So the correct answer for my problem for the sample is we should be able to output 24,000 calories
So
because
we want the calories.
that's
We don't actually care about which elf had that calorie count.
right.
Perfect.
For this part, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, if we
So that
do,
sounds kind of like a one-liner to me.
yeah. Oh,
I'd have to
I
remember
love
how to
one.
do. Uh, Actually, no. I think I know how. I remember how to do reduce. Um, so do you want to take a stab at it, or would you like me?
Oof, you know what? I've been typing all that regex. My fingers are sore. Um,
That's absolutely understandable. Okay, so we got our example here. Um, the way your runner works is just runs this function, right? So we don't want this to be okay. So I just want to deal with example, and you can replace what example is at a later time.
yeah.
Okay, so basically just be example reduce. We've got our value. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Oh, no, this will work. Okay. No, that doesn't make sense. Math is what we want. So I'll start out with math. So we'll have each of our numbers. So that our nums. And then that will map to nums.reduce. And we'll get our value and our previous value, current value, and then we're going to return previous plus, oops, not 69, plus value. And then
So
this would be, oh no,
um,
math on max, right?
math, yeah.
Oh, wait, so how many, just take,
And then you do
oh,
the
perfect, yes,
spread.
right, yeah. Nice, okay.
So
So unhappy with that. Oh, I deleted an important part of this. Okay.
So now one of the things
Oh, I don't
with
have a.
reduce, the callback. Oh yeah, previous value. I always use the term accumulator for the first argument, um, but previous value works.
Or I guess in this case we want to be super like specific here. Just call it some.
Some, yeah. That way
Nums.
when we're talking about it, it's just some number.
Ooh, you have some sort of plugin that's complaining about nums being an unknown word. Interesting.
Yes, yeah, because I do not know how to type, spell specifically. I'm also not great at typing, but spelling in particular, um, I struggle with. So I have a plugin that if something is spelled incorrectly, um, it highlights it for me. So no magical words.
Shall we give this a little run and see how it goes?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a great option. So day 01P, so then I just go to main. It should be there. We are getting an error, the same error from here. This is the day 2 part of a
Which there isn't
previous
one
year.
yet. Yes.
Yeah, not yet. Okay, so now it should be good. So then npm run exec. Oh, I guess it also needs to. Let's do a good old console log.
Oh, are you debugging? Is that how you run this?
Uh,
That launched my debug console. Interesting.
24,000. So that looks correct.
Woo-hoo.
Okay. So now either the hard part or easy part, depending on how you look at it.
Plug it
Um,
in and see how it works.
yeah, so now let's try, and instead of using example, let's use input. Um, so now when it runs, it should just use the values I've regexed in. Hopefully it executes in a similar fashion. 7720. Okay. Um,
So a moment of truth.
yeah. So before we put it in,
Want to make sure our
what's
time's really high.
well, yes. What's your degree of confidence that this is going to be right? Are you like
Um,
100% sure that it's going to be right? 80?
I'm pretty. I'm pretty sure.
Pretty sure. Okay.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. The more now that you've asked me that, I feel less confident than I did before I thought about it. But I mean, we got the expected result from the example, and the logic seems like it's sound. So I think the only way we could fail is if your regular expression magic is not succeeded us,
Yes. So that is
which I don't think it. I don't think it failed. So I think we should be in good shape.
okay. Moment of truth. That is the right answer. We got it. We got
Success.
one gold star.
Wait, so there's a
Okay.
part two on day one? Okay, cool.
Every day has two parts.
Oh, okay.
And
So
sometimes the days like loop in on each other. So like maybe day 20 is going to have like, oh, remember on day 1 you were solving for the elf with the most calories. Well, here's like some conditions that filter or add or complex the problem. So
could you fiddle with your video window so that we're stacked on top of each other?
oh,
So we're not quite as
yes.
wide. I mean, it'll still cover up the same amount of pixels on the screen, I guess, but I feel like it's less sticky outy.
Yes.
Go turn. There
Okay.
we go.
And then I will use my mouse to move it over. There we go.
Okay, cool.
Actually, you know what? I'm just going to move you up a bit. Oh, that's not where my mouse is. There we go. Because we don't need the first problem. We need the second problem. Okay.
Yes.
They've already realized that the elf carrying the most calories of food might eventually run out of snacks.
So now we do want to know the rankings.
Yes, top 3 elves. Oof.
So it sounds to me like we um, remove our max. Well, I guess we have this will be a second or a second function, right?
Yeah, so what we
Do
can
you put that in
do,
a separate file?
yeah, just
Okay.
because there's some times where it's like, remember in day one, part one,
Yeah, and you don't
um,
want to have to read which function it is your stuff came from. Okay. Boom.
and then
Tab two. Oop, okay, sorry. Too much. Too much. I'll let you take care of that.
we both did it. Yeah. Um,
So we want to go back to our example initially, I guess.
yeah, and
So
then
my thought here would be rather than doing max at the beginning, we will do a bit of a sort and then just take the first three.
yes, yeah, I think that sounds good. So I was just getting some stuff ready.
Do you
One
want
error.
to update the code for
Uh,
this?
yes, I want to day one. I'm just getting an error
I don't think we've hit.
file.
I don't think it'll be. I'll hit save for you. Oop,
Oh,
it's
okay.
not saved.
There we go. Yeah. Wow. Sweet. Okay. Yeah. So now we're looking at instead of needing here, let's actually pump this in the example above.
You're doing
So
that. I'm curious. Has anybody who's watching done advent of code or worked on this or done it in the past or doing it currently? You can keep talking. Sorry
yeah.
if you were being quiet, waiting for chat to respond.
Okay. So I don't. Yeah. You know what? I don't think we're going to use the math.max anymore.
Nope.
No, I think that's out. I think we are going to have to sort. So do you remember whether it's A minus B for descending?
Uh, I don't. I think. Yeah, I think it is because I think if the result is negative, then it considers it less.
Yeah.
So that would make sense to me. We should certainly test this first. But um,
You know what?
cool. So
Yeah.
that we got our sorted, and then we just need the first three, right?
Yes. So what I'm doing is I'm going to
Do a little
open up
test.
AB.
And with numbers, you could probably just call sort with no arguments, right? Maybe. Does it have like I think it has a default sort that would probably do numbers.
Now,
At least that's a assumption I'm making that could be wrong.
yeah, it looks like it does, but it does it in ascending, so you would want the last three. So if I do pop, I get the last one. Yeah, so we can
Okay,
do that.
so with your A minus B, or you could do your custom one. That works too, if that gets you the order you want.
You know, less code, less testing. I'm always a fan.
All right.
Um, so
So then
then
we want
if
to give
we
it a
do,
slice or a splice. So we want a
ooh,
slice.
slice, returns a copy.
And then we'd have to do like length minus 3, I guess, to get the last 3.
Can we do, here, let me try this up here. Is it -3? Yeah, you can slice, pass in a negative number, and it starts
Oh,
from the
nice.
other end.
That's handy.
And then we'll want to sum this.
Oh, is that the okay? So it wants the sum.
Yeah, so I'm going to just copy your code. Okay, So we're doing a map, doing all the same type of stuff, except this time we're sorting, we're getting the last three elements, and then we're going to
And
sum those three elements.
what's our expected? Okay, so we're expecting 4,500 or 45,000 to come
Yes.
out.
Okay. Ooh. Slice. Okay.
So we got
Close this.
no,
We
it's not what
got
we got.
35. Did I need? Oof. Interesting. Sort. Just want to double check that.
-3
Minus.
may not be. It's too little, so maybe it needs to be -4. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, what we might want to do, just do a quick debug here. Let's just see what the top 2,400, 4,000. Oh, that's kind of weird. Did it not sort? Okay. Actually, before we start going down that path, I am going to comment that out. This'll probably just really fill up the screen.
That looks wrong.
Yeah, it does look like it did not sort it.
All right, so much for sorting without a function in there.
Interesting.
I wonder if it does like a.
Was it A minus B?
In this case, since we got numbers, would you not use like greater than less than? I guess not, because it would just return the larger two, which isn't helpful.
Yeah.
That looks
So
nicer.
yes, yes, it does. Okay.
So now we can just use our slice as the. I guess the slice would be the same. So if you did plus, it would be the opposite direction. Or if you reverse
Uh,
B and A,
yeah, it would be
yeah,
B
reversing
and
B and
A
A. Yeah,
to do
yeah.
that. I think it was, and I think they're on stream. They were on stream. They were watching. Froda was the very first person I saw do this because I would always do like how I used to do it way back in the day. Actually, before I show way back in my day, let's run it one more time. Make sure it works. So this time we get 45,000. That looks correct. So now let's change this to input. And Wade, what is your degree of confidence?
Um, not as high as it was the first one, but I trust you. 207,148.
You know what? Let's just put it in and see what we get. Done. Okay. Yeah, we got it right.
Ooh.
Awesome. So with sort, how I've used to solve it was instead of doing that single one-liner, I'd always do A, B, oh, need those parentheses, arrow. Then I'd do something like if A greater than B,
You return -1 or 1,
return, yeah,
and otherwise
and
-1. And if they're equal, then it's 0.
yeah,
But it's much cleaner to just use subtraction
yeah,
because it doesn't once as long as you and it is true for this case. I don't know whether it's true for all languages that have sort built into them, but at least in JavaScript, it's just the sign on the number. I think 0 is the only one that matters specifically. So if it's positive or negative or 0, that's what it cares about. It's not specifically -1 or +1 or 0.
yeah,
I mean, it is specifically 0, but not the other two.
yeah. So I wonder, so now to like reflect on it, the reduce sum, is there, did we have to do the sort and the slice? So I was wondering if MDN max,
Whether max can take a function,
whether it can return more than one value.
don't think so. I think
That would
it's
have been that would have been
yeah.
very handy.
because you're passing in each value you're passing in is its own thing. Like they're not connected to each other in any way. Um, it's just something that takes like unlimited. Well, I assume there's a limit to the number of parameters you can pass into a function in JavaScript before it refuses to accept them, but I don't know that that's true.
Zero or more.
Okay, so yeah, it's a
But
lower
yeah,
limit.
lower limit. But yeah, that's okay. One of the things as we're going through and solving this, there is awesome advent of code. So I'll try and zoom in again. So there is a compilation of other people solving the advent of code. If you're stuck on a problem, you could probably come here and use it if other people have made it that far. So we're just scrolling through the languages. We see some people using F sharp. Shout out to the functional .NET developers. Haskell, no side effects, which is always cool. And eventually we're going to get to TypeScript. We could use
We didn't
JavaScript.
actually add any types to our.
Yeah. Be-
Um,
because we're
okay,
just trying to solve the problem.
here we go. I fixed it. I got a expected return type.
Okay. Maybe if we finish enough with TypeScript, we can hop over to Rust. Okay, so these people have actually committed. So I'm just going to open up these tabs and let us look and see what type of, whoa, this is a much larger project than I thought it would be. Okay, let's see, Alex Agius. How did you do this?
And where
Um,
is your solution in this code?
oh man, he's been solving it for a while now.
Okay, okay. So that's why it's so big. It's multiple years and all the problems and stuff.
Okay, I'm going to guess solutions. Uh, more than one. P1. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So some of the people that have been solving this for a while split into int and group by white space. That here, yeah, my
So
yeah,
using
there
the
we go.
file input stuff. Oh no, it's just a
Yes.
utility.
Yeah, it looks like it's some
Yeah, I mean
custom
that makes
code.
sense. If you're doing this, a lot of these, they're pretty standard like things that you need to do, which are things like reading in a file that has a comment limited list of values or uh, line break limited list of values. So that makes sense. Then grouped
Yeah,
by falsy, it's clever.
yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I know Ruby's got a group by thing you can do on collections, and I don't know off the top of my head how to do it, but there is a way to. I'm sure it's a one-liner to do all this as well.
Oh, let's check out the next person. See what their solution kind of look like.
Maybe you'll have
Uh,
some not all utility code.
yes. Next. Okay. Puzzles. Oh, so these people were not. Oh, very similar to what I did.
They parse their file though,
Yeah,
which is nice.
yeah, and then
So yeah, they did
doing the
reduce.
split.
They did some. Well, they had to do parse int because they didn't pre-process their file. So that makes sense.
That sort. Oh,
So
they
yeah,
sliced.
they basically exactly the same thing.
They
Um,
decided to sort the opposite way and slice from the start. Interesting. Um, and let's see. They did tests. You know, that's one of the things we didn't do. We didn't
It's true.
do unit tests
I guess
this
that's one way to
time.
be confident about your solution before you submit it.
Yes. Should solve part two. Nice. Oh,
So just for in well, never mind. Let me. I have too many windows open and I got lost.
yeah. So it seems like we are in tough competition. One of the things I'm curious in, so we completed day one, but if we go look at the leaderboard and look, we can see that some of these people are solving them in pretty quick times. I'm just wondering if some of these people have a GitHub repo
Maybe.
that we could check out. Advent of Code util. Okay. 6 days ago. Yeah, it's not this one. Okay. Let's just keep on. Oh, that's Twitter. Okay. Let me see if I can find. Ah, I'm hoping to find one of these people that actually have their Advent of Code. Oh, but it's for 2021. It would be cool to see how people are solving these so fast. Wonder if this. Yeah, well, maybe on the next stream we'll be able to find some of these people that are hitting the top of the leaderboard and being able to see what kind of programming languages they're using, what kind of solutions they're going with, um, and going from there.
Yeah, I think for my, I shouldn't have just I just clicked on the solution or the problem on my account. I'm going to try to solve it in Ruby. I think just
Ooh,
since I need to be caught up so I can be on the next part by Tuesday. But even though I already know the problem, I don't think it's going to speed me up that much.
yeah. Would you want to share your screen and
I
I'll
can
I'll
just
try
use
and
your environment.
oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Teach me how to Ruby.
All right, so A01 P1 dot. Now I'm going to also copy get my puzzle input and paste it into your. Um,
Here, I'm gonna before you do. I am going to commit the changes we made.
okay.
There we go. So, can I just copy this? What I'll do is I'll post this in the chat. Nice. Good work, Froda. Finding somebody that has a repo we can check out. Advent of Code. Ooh. I need this a little bit bigger. Here. And then if I go to the live share, I should be able to, yeah,
And
focus
I'm going to
on you.
be, there's a way to do fancy groupie grouping stuff, but I'm not going to bother with that. I'm just going to do it the slow man or the verbose way. So let's see here. Actually, this would be. That's perfect. Okay, so this is going to be how I'm parsing. So I'm starting out, I got my groups, it's an array with an array in it. And I'm going to go through each of the inputs that I've got split out. So if the i.length is 0, then I'm going to add a new empty array to groups. Else I will add the item to the last array in the array.
Oof. That's cool.
Hopefully that'll work. So my day one. So the idea was to, okay, so sums going to equal values map. There's a way to do this, and I just had to look it up yesterday. Okay, it is literally just array.sum. Okay, cool. So actually, values.map, sum.max. I think it'll return it. So I think that'll work. Let's give it a try. We're in the day one directory, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I made a mistake. Oh. Okay, so map through, or get the map of each of them, turn into the sum, and then get the max from that. Oops. Oh, whoopsies. Need to be numbers. That helps. Okay. Oh, that's just my solution. I should probably test it with the one that we know the answer to. Actually, what was your? Well, yours has been edited, so I'll just put these in here. Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to replace. Okay, so that's correct, right? 24.
Yes. Yes. Cool. Yeah.
So comment that back out. Actually, I've got mine here. So 69,795. Let's see if that goes. Where did my? There it is. Found it. So that is 69795. That's the right answer. I got a gold star. Okay, let's move on to part 2. And I'm going to be lazy and keep it in the same file. And this one was just, rather than max, I'm going to have to test whether this works actually. 1, 5. It will. Okay, cool. So that's easy enough. Sort, and then I want the last 3. I think that's what I want. Try that. So that should be what I want. Test this again with input here. Oh, actually not putting anything.
So P is all it takes to print something to the.
It's short for put or puts, like put. Short for puts. Yeah. Okay. So you can also, there's also a print, but it's more for like formatted strings. P, you can put anything, like you can put an object and it'll print it out.
Okay.
as an object and stuff. Um, okay, so that, oh, right. This one's supposed to be 45,000, that's correct, I
Yep.
think. Okay, so let's comment that out and see what my 208 437. Woohoo! Okay, so there we go. A little bit, a little bit less code compared to the JavaScript, but
Yeah,
and there's
that
a
got
much
some.
more eloquent way to do this reading from the file, I think, but I don't remember how group by works. But I think there's a way to do that.
Cool. Oh man, able to solve it in Ruby. That still blows my mind. So, can you tell me about in the sort, this array, uh, what's going on there?
So that has nothing to do with sort. So you can chain things together. Like a function call in Ruby doesn't have to have parentheses. In fact, there are people who swear that you should never use parentheses for calling functions, unless of course there's arguments going into it. And actually, you don't even need it for that. You can put a space and the following value. Like I could have done this. Um, that's valid. It won't. The highlighter won't think it is because there's no way for it to know that this is an also variable, but that is technically valid. So this is just index. So it's just saying if I have a string, like I could do, and that just is a way of slicing the string. So this would return the last 4 characters. It would start from 4 characters from the end and go to the last one, which is -1.
Okay.
I can also just say I want to go from like the second index to the last one. This way you don't have to know what the index of what the length of the thing is, which is kind of nice. I mean, I guess you can do the same thing with slice in JavaScript, but I wasn't actually worried to do that.
If it was not -1, but if it was 0, would it go from wherever that index is to the start?
Let's see. So if we had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I don't believe so. I think it'll just do like if I just do -3, and actually I might just be able to do. Okay, so I don't even need the -1 actually. That was extra. But if I do 0, it will return nothing because it's saying go
Okay.
from the end to the first character, and there's nothing after the end, between the end and the first. Um, yeah.
Okay. Cool. And the curly braces in Ruby are doing like
This
a.
is like a block. So the other way you could do this, I could also have written values.map do, and then this inside of that. These are both equivalent.
Okay.
It's basically this is a function that takes in a block and then whatever the code in this returns is what is returned by that block internally. And then it just lets it pass through.
Nicely done. Oh, I love it. Okay. Well, I think we are closing in on an hour, so
Yeah.
stay tuned. In a couple days, so Tuesday, same time, I'll be joined by somebody from the Moody's team to help me solve day 2. And then Thursday, are you streaming, Wade? I think there's going to be some tweets coming out about the timing and all
Yes.
that.
I will be tweeting a schedule that has like all the days on it. We're at the same time, we're at 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central on each of these days. But we'll mostly be doing Tuesdays and Thursdays, with I think the 9th being the exception where we are also streaming on a Friday. And that'll go till the 22nd.
Nice. Cool. Um, well, hopefully to the people that watched it, if you like this, give that tweet a retweet, tell your friends, and try and solve along with us, try and solve before us, come to the stream with advice on like, oh, you might try and do this, but you probably shouldn't. Yeah.
Yeah, because something to note for the rest of the rest of the streams will be next Tuesday. We'll be doing day 2, even though it will not be day 2. So you have a chance to get ahead and make fun of AJ when it takes him longer than 30 seconds to solve it or whatever it ends up being. Um,
Yeah, it's
but
nuts
don't do
seeing
that. Be
those
nice to
times.
AJ.
So some of the times when you look back on previous years and you see to get into the top 100, it took like 2 or 3 hours. You're like, oh man, that must have been a tough problem that day. So hopefully we don't encounter that. Maybe that's what day 9 looks like. But we should be able to get to day 8. Here's hoping.
So even with having seen the problem before and having solved it before, and then switching to Ruby, I am still, for part 2, I'm about 2,000 ahead of my rank from the previous one, but I'm 99,361 for part 1 and 94,218 for part 2. So that makes that 30-second solving time even more impressive. According to this, it took me 14 minutes and 50 seconds to solve part 2, but maybe that's like on top of the 14 minutes and 48 seconds it took me the first part. It's got to be. I can't imagine it took me.
Yeah, we've
I
only
guess maybe
been.
it could have been more than 2 minutes, but it certainly wasn't 14 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Wade. I think that's it for today, unless you have anything else.
No, I think that's it.
Cool. Well, thank you all for attending. And yeah, feel free to check out batovi.com. Shoot us a tweet. Let us know how we're doing. See ya.
Indeed. Bye.